Europe needs to stand up for itself, I think. And I've seen for too long, too many things that are intolerable be tolerated. And I think that tolerance is not a virtue, it is a vice. It is how you become weak, it's how you become a subject of ridicule, it's how you get taken advantage of. And I wanted to go over some recent stories just in the past couple of weeks, just to illustrate what is going on in Europe. And I'm also, because people say, oh, you tell us all of the problems, you don't give us any solutions. Well, I'm going to give you a list of the policies I think that can solve this. So there you go. To those people, shut up. But here we have a story here. 2 Afghan refugees shine at Coward Cricket Club in Selby. Can anyone guess?
I've seen these guys' pictures already. Yeah, go on.
Alvin, have you seen this?
No.
What do you reckon these gentlemen might have done?
Rape?
You're good at this. It's like you've been doing this for a while. Afghan refugee had been praised as humble and admirable, charged with gang raping York woman. There he is, look.
Just the woman who was looking after him, or a different one?
I don't know, to be honest.
Because I remember I saw some reports saying that these two had been housed by a local Yorkshire woman.
So that man on the right, he didn't do anything.
No, he didn't do anything, but this one did.
This guy did, yes.
Afghanistan or Pakistan, you can take a guess. 9 times out of 10, it will be gang rape.
Mm-hmm. And this reminds me of something else, where the media writes puff pieces. Aren't these wonderful refugees great? I did one about this guy called, I think he was called Moisey Lahombo.
Going back, the article that said how he was so good, the first one.
Yeah.
Right, what outlet is this on? I wonder if the same publication, how they handled after he'd been.
Well, there were lots of articles sharing this thing. Most of them have been taken down.
Okay.
So this is local press, and I've looked at the Swindon Advertiser before as well, and they do puff pieces about, look at this local migrant who showed up yesterday, and we've
They're not all bad.
We've already given him a business, and look, here's a picture of him smiling, like him, he's just like you and me.
Yeah, except you rape your wife and your daughter.
I've also covered this as well. This was an example in Germany of this Congo man. And they were saying how...
Looks like a Welshman to me.
Yeah, he's definitely Welsh. And they're talking about how he does boxing and baking and how he's basically a model for integration. And then he went on to do this. He beat and sexually assaulted his own mother.
You had to remind me of this one.
Huh?
I know. This is what we're importing into Europe. These are the people that are rubbed in our noses saying, look at these model immigrants, aren't they so integrated? No, they're not. We don't do this.
This is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
This is clinically insane.
Yeah, and, we've got this as well. Asylum seeker posed as child before murdering aspired Marine. This was in the news today. There he is. He pretended to be a child as an asylum seeker when he arrived into the UK, said he was 14, but he's actually 19, and then went on to murder. Oh, my thing stopped working. He went on to murder an aspiring Royal Marine. And if we go over to France, of course, we have this. There are all of these church burnings, and there's a case here. So this guy that did this had been convicted in 8 previous cases for church arson, and he posted things about anti-racism and Islam. And here's his social media, of course, in Arabic, and posting pictures of Islam. And
this is the one who was already a repeat offender.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
At what point do you say, no, you're just staying in prison?
Yeah, and I don't know whether this guy is actually French, but the fact that he's converted to Islam, there's a large Islamic presence, shows that it's not even just the people that come to our country that we need to worry about, because they're also having an influence on the lunatics that are already here.
They're radicalizing.
Exactly. And, I don't know what that's doing there. Samson, can you get rid of that? Oh.
There we go.
Anyway. Okay. So this is France again. This is recent. Illegal Nigerian migrant sexually assaults woman, and then the mayor announces women's parking spots and more surveillance.
More Big Brother, great.
That's not how you solve this. How you solve it is you don't have the illegal Nigerian migrant there.
Right, exactly.
They can't do that if they're not there, can they? That is how you solve this. Having special parking spots and increasing surveillance is unnecessary if you don't have these people here in the first place. And let's go to Germany. This was this morning. There were shots fired outside the Israeli consulate. I would imagine this is someone upset about Palestine, which I imagine it wouldn't be a native German. The Germans had their period of history where they weren't too bigger fans of those people, but it's not so much anymore.
Get over it.
Yeah, and in fact that police officers had to shoot this person dead. We don't know much about it. Interesting that they mentioned that museum as well, a mid-century German-era museum, but I don't think that that's necessarily related. It's just that the consulate is near it. But yes, they had to shoot someone dead this morning. And here's another example. This is from just the end of August. Libyan migrant arrested after assaulting 89-year-old woman in her own home.
What kind of evil does that?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently Libyans. And here's another one. Somali migrant stabs German man in the neck in small town. And he said, "I will kill you and your families." This is what we're inviting into Europe. And another one, Iraqi migrant murders asylum home operator. So this was someone who offered shelter to migrants, and then they were stabbed by the Iraqi. And this was only a day ago. So that there are multiple examples every day. You can just look at Germany, for example. This isn't working for anyone.
The Liberals keep saying if you're nicer to them, they'll be nicer back.
Mm-hmm. Schizophrenic Somalian who beheaded his roommate will not be deported from Germany because prosecutors worry he'll just come back.
Is that tautology?
Why don't you just ban him from the country or close the borders or something then?
If European countries had the death penalty, there would be no coming back with them.
I mean, what are they going to do? Are they just going to walk him to the border?
He can't be rehabilitated, can he?
Like, push him across the border, and then if he turns around and walks straight back in, they go, shrug their shoulders, well, nothing we can do now.
I'm of the opinion that this humanitarian argument against the death penalty is actually more inhumane than the reality of it, right? This schizophrenic Somalian who beheaded someone, he can never exist in society safely. It's better for everyone. It's probably better for him as well if he were dead.
But we can't even deport people. We're never going to hang them, are we?
I know. Well, that's where we need to get to. We need to push things in that direction. Yeah. Here's another one. German police reportedly cover up sexual assault of 12-year-old girl by Syrian refugee who was allowed to walk free after arrest. It's infuriating.
This is going to end up in people taking the matter into their own hands. We're going to have vigilantes.
Yes.
Continue to have 12-year-old girls raped by these refugees.
Well, that's the thing, is that was essentially what the beginning of last month was here. Mm-hmm. People going to migrant hotels and trying to enact a form of vigilante preemptive justice. And all it ends up with is native people in prison, because the state actively seem to be pushing this kind of thing, and then when people understandably get annoyed and they say, well, the state's not doing anything to help me, I'll take it into my own hand, then they get punished for doing such a thing.
Well, you only need to point out that there's a problem and you'll have your life ruined, like this soldier in Germany who was stripped of his rank over his past support for anti-Islam and anti-multiculturalism movements.
It sounds like a good man.
Yeah, well...
Patriots.
Yeah, he's serving for the military and he's not a fan of Islam.
Right. That should be everyone who's serving in the military.
Yeah, well...
Well, remember that the German press doxed people. I think it was the Bild newspaper went out of their way to dox a bunch of Germans because they'd been caught on camera and shared on Twitter singing Ausländer raus.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. They tried to get them arrested, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then, here's another one as well. Berlin police have withdrawn their advice to sing loudly if you are confronted with a knife attacker after being widely mocked. They claimed the advice was designed to catch an attacker off guard, but in their experience...
Try and get them into the Macarena with you, then they won't
sing
stab
while you're being stabbed. What is wrong with this world?
If you start singing the big part of the middle of Bohemian Rhapsody, they can't resist.
How about this idea? If someone pulls a knife on you, you should be able to pull a gun on them and shoot them.
Amen.
Yeah. That is justice right there.
It works.
Yeah, it does. And, it's a good disincentive to go around stabbing innocent people and mugging them and doing all sorts of horrible things. And also another German-speaking country as well.
A minor anecdote, that reminds me of a story about, the old mad record producer Phil Spector?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. He once pulled a gun on Johnny Ramone in the middle of New York. So Johnny Ramone pulled a gun on him And you know what? Neither of them shot each other.
Right.
It was a good deterrent, actually.
If Johnny Ramone had shot him in retaliation, he wouldn't have gone on to kill that woman.
To be fair, if someone pulls a gun on you, you should shoot them. Not just pull a gun on them. You should shoot them if they pull a gun on you.
Yeah. Josh is right. Phil Spector did end up going and murdering a woman, so...
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
No matter how good the Wall of Sound production method is, he is a scumbag. So here's an article about Austria, talking about how non-Muslim girls wear headscarves out of fear because Islam has reached such a point. So there are some pretty worrying figures. So primary school pupils in Vienna, Muslims are now 35%, and it's now larger than Catholicism as the largest religious group in Austria. And if we look at this, so this is talking about Austria's education system. Around 70% of school-aged children in Vienna do not speak German in their everyday life. 39%, or nearly 80,000 children, do not have Austrian citizenship.
A large minority don't have a citizenship, and a large majority don't even speak German.
So lots of teachers are actually quitting because it's impossible to teach these children.
Yes, it is.
20 quitting on peak days, apparently.
What? This is crazy. The country can't survive like this.
Yeah, exactly. 8 out of 10 reported school crimes in Austria occur in Vienna, with 90% of these incidents committed by immigrant children.
You scroll down, I want to see refugee...
Oh my gosh, they are the problem.
Yeah, exactly. These people are enabling...
Rape us, stab us.
There's no excuse for people like this now. They are just facilitating the sexual assault, murder, and destruction of our civilization. Right. As far as I'm concerned, refugees' welcome signs is signalling you're a traitor to this country.
100%. Those migrants need deporting, and these women holding this refugees' welcome sign need to put locked up.
We had mental asylums for a reason, right?
Yeah.
If people are attacking you and you're like, we want more of this, you're mentally ill.
Yeah, that's not right.
There's nothing good about that. You're not virtuous. You're just pathetic. So here's another example. At least the polls are slightly more stringent. So this is a Senegalese migrant who went into a popular swimming spot to defecate, and he just stripped off naked and went to the toilet where people swim.
I thought that's what the Indians do. I didn't know the Senegalese are doing it too.
Apparently so.
Disgusting. What's wrong with these uncivilized people?
I know, yeah. It's a place that people go to swim, and he just strips off naked in front of everyone and goes to the toilet.
I honestly don't. I'm not asking a stupid question for the sake of it. I genuinely don't understand why they do this.
I don't know much about Senegal. I wonder, do they have many toilets over there? Is it just
former French colony,
normalized over there that you just do that? So if they get to Poland, at least they deported him.
That's true. The Poles at least have some fighting spirit in them, which a lot of the rest of Europe do not anymore.
In my ideal society, after Stelios showed me Freddy, we all know what I'm talking about there. Do you know what it was? He had named a human turd that he'd found on the street in Swindon, Freddy, and tried to... Well, he did show it.
Show everybody.
Because it's Stelios. He's a very strange man.
There are so many around Swindon as well that you could exhaust the British name dictionary.
But in my ideal society, we would then track down the person who did it and deport them.
Yeah. We've got enough CCTV.
Yeah, we don't...
Got DNA.
We don't need people literally crapping on the streets in our society. You see videos from back in the day of, say, the 1960s, a lot cleaner.
Yeah,
a lot cleaner back here.
So... we know we've got the data. It's not just anecdotes, right? Here's the Danish data, some of the best data in Europe, but it's mirrored across, all of Europe. I've looked at the UK data. I've looked at Swedish data recently. I've looked at France, Italy. The whole works all mirrors this trend that people from the Middle East and Africa commit more crimes than elsewhere, and Europe and parts of Asia commit, less. That is just how it works.
It's enough to make you racist, isn't it?
You could say that, yeah. But this, to my mind...
I'm so tolerant.
To my mind, this sort of thing should inform these policies. I said I'd give you solutions. Here they are. Capital punishment for murderers, sex criminals, and nonces.
Yep.
Give people the legal right to defend themselves.
Yep.
Mass remigration of criminals and financial net negatives.
Yep.
No welfare for foreigners, or ideally anyone, except maybe people with disabilities. Accept no asylum applications whatsoever. Find the illegals already here and deport them. Get the legal migration figures to net remigration, and Nuremberg-style trials of those who imposed this on us in the first place.
How can I vote for you?
Well, I'm not affiliated with any political party. In fact, I was lukewarm on reform because I thought they would...
Come and join UKIP. I like what you've got to say.
Well, thank you.
This needs to be done. It's serious. Our country is going to be dead if we don't turn things around. The current trajectory shows that this is going to be the way.
There's no real appetite for this, really, is there?
There is in the public, in the general populace, but not in the politicians.
This should be on everyone's mouth. These policies. Yeah. This should be hammered home. We want this, and anything less than that is betraying the native British people.
Let's get rid of the traitors.
Exactly. And if you want to, save your country, you can go to the Lotus Eaters merch store and buy yourself a really nice T-shirt.
Yeah. It is a good shirt. I've got that shirt.
I like that shirt. I've got that shirt as well. And
I can't imagine Josh has ever worn a T-shirt. Can you?
He wears them all the time, actually.
Does he really?
It's off-putting.
I don't understand that.
It's basically being naked. But yes, these T-shirts are very good. We also have all the other Islander stuff that's going off of the merch store at the end of the week. So by the time this goes out, you're not going to have very long to get these limited edition T-shirts, posters and mugs with all of the Islander stuff, because eventually there will be some new stuff there. And
the good news is the Common Sense Crusade stuff will still be there. So if you want to get a nice T-shirt or a mug, grab one of those instead.
There you go. And yes, to sort of close out, obviously there is a policy solution to this problem. We just don't sell our country off to foreigners.
I'm going to stand on this. Everything you just said, apart from one thing, I'm going to stand on all those things in the next election.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, go for it.
So, out of curiosity, what was the one thing you objected to?
No asylum acts whatsoever. I think we should, if we are going to take in refugees, they should be Christians from southern Sudan, northern Nigeria, Artsakh, Armenia, Christians that are genuinely persecuted around the world. Because if we're going to take people on, that's an argument to be had, then they should be people that share our values.
Fair enough. I mean, it was more of a sort of temporary measure, right?
That's if moratorium on asylum in general for a while, yeah, absolutely.
I think also the notion of asylum being a temporary thing, not just a route to settlement, because that's what's being taken advantage of. Yeah. I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast to the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, we also do videos on our website. Here we're talking about how the state kills dissidents, and if you want to see all the other work we're putting out, you can follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.